Hey guys, Professor Hayden here. I have a very special guest today. He is a 19-year-old brown belt from Brazilian Fight Factory, purple belt Nogi world absolute and middleweight champ, ADCC Trials veteran, who's #1 vet, who's next superstar, and Emerald City Invitational winner Andrew Tackett. How's it going, man?
Going good, going good. How are you guys doing today? Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to have you. This is going to be fun.
I'm super hyped and excited as well to be on. I love opportunities like this where I get to talk with people that I know and that we can show everybody else what I'm about. So yeah, I'm very excited for this opportunity. This would be super dope and fun.
Yeah, your energy is contagious, man. So it should be a fun one for the listeners.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So we have a lot of like major stuff that you've done recently that I want to get to, but before we get to that, I do want to hear like how you got started in jiu-jitsu. I know your whole family does jiu-jitsu, like, so let's start like at the beginning, and I'm just gonna let you go, man. I know a lot of people are gonna want to hear that.
For sure. Okay, so it's not too long of a story. So yes, I have an older sister. She's 23 right now. She has 2 kids and she's married to a great man. I have an older brother, William. Many of you guys know him. He does jiu-jitsu as well. He travels, competes all over. I have a younger brother, Caleb. My older brother, William, he's 21. My younger brother, Caleb, he is 15. So he's just getting his permit. Everybody on the road, watch out! My little brother, he's good. So in our family, my sister was a crazy driver. Like, she wrecked once. My brother probably was the safest driver, and then I have been so far the craziest driver. I got for my first car, I was able to find from with the help of my dad, a old guy that is a mechanic, a painter. He had a super nice car, and so I was able to get that. It's a sports car, so for all the
what do you got?
For all the car geeks, it's a 335i with an N54 engine.
Nice.
It's a BMW 335i, and it's a fun car. So I've crashed, I think, 3 times now. But thankfully, my dad is also a mechanic, so we were able to buy new parts, take it to the shop, fix it up, without it ever being on the car's record. So yeah, I'm thankful for that. But then my little brother, he'll probably be an even crazier driver. So everybody on the road, watch out for my little brother. All right, now getting into the story of how we started jiu-jitsu. So me and my older brother, we're 2 years apart, so we've always been really close. We shared a room growing up, so we've always been pretty tight. So my dad, he started jiu-jitsu. I think it was like a day before us. He tried it out. He's like, "Dang, this is super cool. I love this." And at the time, I believe my older sister was doing ballet, my older brother was doing hip hop and ballet, and I was doing another dance as well. And we were also playing soccer. And soccer is just notorious for getting kicked in the shin and crying wolf. So my dad was like, "Hey, you guys want to try a fighting sport?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's try a fighting sport." I think it was my dad didn't want us to be, considered. This isn't mean, but wimpy kids. So he was like, "Let's try a fighting sport. You guys are doing dance and soccer. Not a good route so far."
So combination.
For sure. So yeah, we went to this one place. We called it the Red Barn. It was a super old tin building. It was a wrestling and workout gym. It had mats, green turf, and workout equipment. So it was like a little hole in the wall. All jiu-jitsu gyms back then were a hole in the walls. Like 13 years ago, like jiu-jitsu was such a little sport. It was wrestling, judo, and jiu-jitsu gym. So we started off, I think, our first class with jiu-jitsu. There was 2 students there. One was Scarlet, and she was a girl, and the other one I forget his name. But the only reason I remember the girl's name is because the first day I went in, she tapped me like 2 times.
So how old are you at this point?
I was 5, just turning 6.
Nice.
It's like pretty young. She was like maybe 7 or 8, and my brother, he was like 8. The guy there was like I think 10. So they both beat us up, and I got beat up by the girl. So that's kind of what made me mad. I was like, dang it! I was like, come on, Andrew. I was like, you got completely like destroyed in front of your dad, in front of this girl. So I went up to my dad. I was like, dang, Dad, I gotta keep doing this. I want to get better. And he's like, yeah, let's keep doing it. So we kept doing it. The girl was still beating me up for about 2 more years. Is Girls are just such faster learners in jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely.
Um, and so that was like
Sad
my
but
goal. I was
true.
like, oh, it's sad but true, man. And also, I feel like girls rely on technique a lot more than guys because sometimes guys can, use their strength and athleticism. So, girls have to think a little bit more.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, she was beating me up, and finally, like 3 years later, I was able to beat her, and then I was like, yes, my accomplishment. And then I was like, oh shoot, I was trained this whole time to beat this girl, and then I started looking at jiu-jitsu more like realistically, like okay, I want to start competing, I want to start getting better. So I started competing, and I think I think we counted like 100 and something Naga tournaments we did. Like that was
Wow.
like we would count every single one that we did. So yeah, we did so many. Maybe it wasn't quite 100. I think it was in the 70s actually. I'm getting a little bit better of a memory. So 70s. But
That's
yeah,
a that's a lot, man.
we did so many Naga tournaments. I remember so many times because Naga tournaments were always in Houston or Dallas, and we lived in a place called Austin, which is like 3 hours to Dallas, 3 hours to Houston. So we would wake up, 5 a.m. Tournaments usually start around 9, a Naga tournament. So we would pass a bridge dark and then fight past the bridge dark at night. And I just having so many memories of me just being in the car with my family, puking in a bag, getting ready for a tournament, all nervous.
I feel your pain with that one because
Oh man,
it's 3 hours to the nearest tournament for us. We have to drive from Maine to Boston, Massachusetts. Usually for tournaments, it's like 3 hours
yeah,
minimum. So
yeah. I hate driving for tournaments, man. There's nothing I don't like because the whole drive you're just like 15 minutes until we get there. Like you're just counting down the time until you are competing.
right.
I rather like waking up, going downstairs, getting warmed up, and fighting. So that's I like staying in hotels when I like compete like super close.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's kind of the story of how we got into jiu-jitsu. And my older sister actually, her name's Sophia. She did jiu-jitsu as well, and she used to break men's ribs in tournaments because back then in Nagas there wasn't girls or boys division. It was just everyone together.
Yep.
Um, like there wasn't even a girls division for the longest time. So girls and men would compete together. And I remember my sister used to get guys in like closed guard and would just squeeze and like pop their ribs. Um, and that's how she would win the match. The guy would either go, and she would sweep him, then choke him or armbar them, or he would just like tap tap my ribs. Because jiu-jitsu honestly didn't have much rules back then. Like it was like okay, no poking, no punching, no biting, go.
Especially
Like
with
it wasn't.
Naga, it seems like Naga is
Oh,
kind of like the Wild West of jiu-jitsu competitions.
for sure. And also back then, Naga was like the first nationwide tournament that got started, so it was extremely popular. Nowadays, not so much, but back then it was like the hot spot for like local tournaments.
Yeah.
But my sister, she was crazy. She used to beat everyone up. I used to have a lot of success. I have like 30 Naga belts and like 30 samurai swords that Naga used to give out and a bunch of medals
Nice.
still with me.
So does
And
she still
yeah,
train?
she actually does not.
No.
The first sport she did was she used to break horses, train horses, and ride horses on a 5 gate like national level. So
Nice.
she was all into horse riding. She was super good at it too. So she had very strong legs because in order to ride a horse, you have to be able to pinch them really tightly to not fall off side to side when they turn.
Yep.
Um, so she had strong legs. That's why she was able to break people's ribs. But yeah, we just kind of always grew up competing, always traveling, always training. So
So when along the line did people start, or did your family start saying, like, you and your brother, like, you guys are something special? When did that start to take place?
from the beginning, I mean, my family, my mom and dad always had the utmost faith in us. Like they were always supportive of us from the beginning. They were like, "Is this something you guys want to do?" Like from like ages 8, 9, we are like, "Yeah, we love jujitsu." And they're like, okay, well, let's start, working towards making this a forever thing. So from the age of being super young, William and I, Caleb, everyone in our family knew that we wanted to do this. It wasn't like, oh, we started getting good and they're like, okay, now let's do this.
Yeah.
I think that's why we had so much success when we were younger as a kid, like winning all the Nagas, because we were training like we wanted to do for the rest of our lives, not just training for the Austin Open, training for the next tournament. It was training for the future. The tournaments are just stepping stones.
Yeah.
And I also think that's where people, when they're trying to do jiu-jitsu professionally, they get mistakes. They think the tournaments, are what they should be training for. Tournaments are just stepping stones or elevators to help you get to the top of the level. What you should be focusing on is the biggest tournament in the world, the ADCC. Worlds. You should be
Mm-hmm.
focusing on who's number one. You should be focusing on the big boy tournaments. All the other tournaments like Emerald City, Austin Open, all the opens, they're just stepping stones. Of course, train your hardest for them, but if you look at a small tournament as the best you can do, then that would be the best you can do. But if you're looking at the great tournament as the best you can do, then those smaller tournaments will just be a breeze because you're training for something bigger, a bigger picture.
Yeah. Well,
Did that make sense?
absolutely. I
Right. All
completely
right. Cool.
agree.
Cool. Cool.
I completely
Sounds good.
agree. So, and you're like, these are steps, but you're like running up the steps right now, to be honest.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm trying not to go too fast because sometimes when we go too fast, we lose sight or we fall, we slip on some rain or something. So I'm trying to keep a steady pace and not burn myself out
For
or
sure.
even get injured or anything like that. But
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun. Just
So,
I have a bunch of.
what do you feel
Oh,
like your
sorry.
first big step beyond Naga was? Like,
So there's this tournament called BFA. For all the local people in Texas or just anywhere in Texas, you guys know what BFA was. It was the first invitational for kids. It's for all the kids that won Nagas and won new breeds and won Texas grappling challenges, like all the local tournaments back then. They were invited to this tournament called BFA. It was a $500 cash prize kids tournament, so they would have 16 kids from around Texas that they thought was really good, and then they would all fight. And it happened twice a year. So from like yellow belt to like green belt, so like ages I don't know like 12 or 11 to like ages 14, 15, I was competing in BFA. And
nice.
that was like, oh, that was, man, I have so many tiring memories from BFA because they were 10-minute rounds, like for kids. So,
Oh, wow.
most kids tournaments are 3-minute rounds, 5-minute rounds, and they're points tournaments. This tournament was submission only. So BFA made a lot of money, but then they just kind of died off. But so that was kind of my big, because I won. I think I competed in 7 or 8 BFAs, and I won 4. Like,
Nice.
man, they were like the kids Pan Am local for the tournament. And then I started doing kids pans, and I always lost to this one kid, Mario. He trains at Rice Bros in California. I remember the first time I lost him, he Delahiva'd me, and I had no idea what Delahiva was. I was like a yellow belt, 10, 11 years old. I had no idea what Delahiva was. He Delahiva'd me. He dumped me on my back. He bambolaed me, took my back, and armbarred me. And I was just like, whoa, what was that? So I took second, and then the next year lost to him again. But I put up a lot better of a fight because I knew what Del Hiva was. Our fight was crazy. I think he beat me by 2 points or advantage. I took second again, and then I went to Kids Fans again. Lost to Cade Rotolo. or Ty Rotolo, one of them. I forget. They look just alike.
Yeah, they do.
But I lost to Kate Rotolo. It was a crazy match. I believe he beat me by 2 points. I remember how red our faces were and how tired we were. I got second again. Next year, lost to Kate or Ty, one or the other. I forget their names. But again, I think this time he submitted me. He applauded me, and I was just devastated. So that was like the starting of my career. Was Kids Pans, BFA, and then I went to a tournament called Bruce Kumite. Um, this one guy, he's the father of this one girl that trained at 10th Planet. She was really close with Every Bra, but her name was Korsek. He put on this one tournament. It was a super fun tournament. It was a submission only EBI tournament, 10-minute rounds, EBI overtimes, and
Nice.
everybody had to put $100 in, then you take the jackpot. So it doesn't matter how much people sign up, the jackpot gets bigger and bigger.
Yep.
So I competed in those for years, and that was super good experience too, because and the kids that fought in Bruce Kumite were fighting in Pan Am's and were fighting in also BFA, because the jiu-jitsu population back then was like so small, man. Like now, like FloGrappling, they're IBJJF, like the platforms that jiu-jitsu is getting on, like UFC Fight Pass.
Right.
It's just incredible. Like back then, it was YouTube and it was Facebook
Yeah.
that was jiu-jitsu. Like live Facebook and YouTube was all the top tournaments. That's how they were recording. Um, and so, like the same kids that I fought in BFA, I was fighting in Bruce Kumite because the population was so small for jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
And nowadays you might just have a kid that's been training for 6 years and he's just as good as a black belt that's been training for 12 years, just because the quality of jiu-jitsu is so good now versus
Absolutely.
back then.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, the
I re-
instructionals that are out and
oh yeah.
the access to information and cross training, it's incredible how fast the sport is growing right now. I mean,
I
BJJ fanatics, FloGrappling, like they're all doing a huge service to everyone in jiu-jitsu.
I couldn't agree more. I remember back then when Keenan Online came out, Jiu-Jitsu just went crazy. They were like, "What is this?" They were like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing."
Yep.
Um, I remember when I was growing up, the only way I had to learn techniques was either making them up with my brother, or relying 100% on my professor to teach me good techniques,
Right.
because there was really no other way to learn. Um, and then once cross train started, because back then gym owners were so, I'd say, like conservative of their students, because there was not many students back then. They were
Right.
like, they got 100, maybe 150 students. They were like, this is, I just got to keep them. So cross training back then was not super big. Like if you trained at another gym's another gym, your professor would be like, come on man, you're loyal to us. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's so awesome. We're able to go cross train and train with people that we wouldn't normally get to, and we're all cool with it because we're all helping each other grow. It's not just I'm going to be the best and I'm not going to teach anybody else my techniques. It's we're helping the sport grow by sharing what we know, by cross training and helping people out.
Yeah, there's nothing
So
to hide. people are
no,
gonna
I feel the same.
people are gonna find the technique, and it's just gonna be a matter of who's better, who trains harder, who practices more. For
No,
sure.
totally.
So we met for the first time a couple weeks ago at the Emerald City Invitational that Sam McHale put on. One of the things we talked about in that video podcast we did was your professor at Brazilian Fight Factory. So why don't you tell us a little bit about him, if you don't mind, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds great. So yeah, my professor, Rodrigo Cabral, I hope I'm saying his last name right. I think it's Rodrigo Oliveira Cabral. So he's full blooded Portuguese. He's from Brazil. Spoke Portuguese his whole life. He moved to London. He opened up a super successful gym in London called London Fight Factory. Then he passed on that gym to somebody else. Came here. To America, started training at a gym called, I don't want to get the name wrong, so I'm not going to say it, but He was the main professor there at that gym, and then he got a bunch of students under him, and he moved locations to a strip mall, a little hole in the wall called Brazilian Fight Factory, and that was the OG gym. That gym was it was a fight factory. I believe William and I started with my professor Rodrigo. Was it 8 years into our jiu-jitsu journey? And I'll talk a little bit more about my first professor, but it was 8 years in my jiu-jitsu journey, and we learned a lot from him, just because Rodrigo grew up around the best. He grew up with Andre Gaval. He grew up with the Meow brothers, with Kyle Terra. He grew up with, I believe he was next door neighbors with one of the Gracies. So he just grew up in that jiu-jitsu atmosphere his whole life.
Nice.
And you ask any of the greats, you ask Andre Gaval, you ask any of them, like ask how good was Rodrigo back in the days? They're all gonna say he beat the heck out of us. Like Rodrigo was just so good, and the only thing that held him back was his injuries. He had elbow surgery, both his elbows. He tore both. I believe he tore his pec muscle. Had to get surgery on that. He hurt both his shoulders. So that's what really limited him to competing.
Gotcha.
Back in the days, Rodrigo won Brazilian nationals. He won all sorts of top tournaments. So he's very, very technical and wise in jiu-jitsu. So once we started with him, he taught more of a smash, holding pressure jiu-jitsu rather than, crazy speed. And, my whole jiu-jitsu game was just crazy speed, like aerodynamic, acrobatic stuff. Like,
Absolutely.
because I did gymnastics also when I was a kid, so I always kind of had that body. I'd say confidence in my body to do the crazy stuff. Because what sometimes hold people back from doing stuff is their confidence. Like we want to go do something, we want to go talk to somebody, but we're like shy or not confident. That's what holds us back. But if
Yeah.
we're confident in what we're going to say and what we're going to do, it's a breeze. So I was confident in that stuff, so that's why I was doing that in the beginning of my jiu-jitsu. Rodrigo got a hold of me. He was like, Andrew, 1, you missed position. Andrew, 2, you suck. Andrew, 3, you're not relying on technique. You're just you're going crazy. And I was like, I never thought about that. So he really helped me slow my jiu-jitsu down. I'm sure in that tournament, Emerald City, you could see my 2 different games.
Yes.
You could see, versus Chris, you could see my, aerodynamic, acrobatic, crazy, constant moving, marathon pace game, and then you could see my calm and collected, look like I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about 50 years, jiu-jitsu game. so,
That reminds me of something I wanted to mention, because you had an insane match with Chris and with Kieran Kachuk, and afterwards you had mentioned your approach to the matches being completely different. Your passing style based on the type of game that they play. So I know Kieran plays a false reap game. Can you, like we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I was blown away by how much thought you put into your game plan. Can you just kind of go over what your process was versus, Chris Wojak, and then again versus Kieran?
Oh yeah, totally. So both Kieran and Chris are top, really good competitors. I believe Chris made a very big name for himself at the ADCC Trials. He ended up losing to my brother for the 3rd place match, so he almost podiumed. And to honestly, just make it to the second day in ADCC Trials. That ADCC Trials was crazy. To make it to the second day, and that was a world. You could have won worlds. Like,
Yeah.
that was the equivalent of winning worlds, was making it to the second day.
I completely agree.
So, I believe he made a really good name for himself. He put a tough fight against my brother. He beat one of my teammates, Cody Steele. So he was on fire that tournament. And then Kieran won Emerald City. That's really where I started to know it. Kieran was when he won the Emerald City Invitational. He beat a bunch of good guys. That division was stacked, man. I don't care what you say.
I was there in person for that, and he tore through everyone. It was crazy.
Yeah. I remember watching that because I had a personal friend, Jordan Hawley. fighting on it. So I was rooting for Jordan. Sadly, Jordan lost to a very good competitor, Johnny Grippo.
Yep.
But Kieran just blew through everybody else, and was so confident. So I was like, okay, this Kieran guy, don't he's pretty good. He's pretty good. So
Yeah.
my game plan against Chris, I saw him. He was able to stall people out. He was able to calm down people, imply his game, and he was able to basically calm and slow his opponent down very well, and he was able to enforce his style on his partner. So my whole goal was not to slow down and not to let him imply his game, because I knew as soon as I got into that state where I was calm and and just collected of my movements, he would have started to you know done his jiu-jitsu, and that would have been bad for me.
Hmm.
So I just kept a fast, but not too fast, just marathon pace the whole round to never let him, settle and imply his game. You notice that he was playing guard, then he would stand up, then he would play guard, then he would stand up. He was never like, what you call it, like,
Yeah.
uh, he was never like happy with what
No,
his
he was
game
never
was.
all in on one position. He wasn't really. I don't know. I'm not saying he wasn't sure what he wanted to do, but that's how it looked.
For sure. But that was what I was trying to do. Like I knew Chris had a fantastic guard. His guard and his back takes are amazing. His close guard is excellent, and I knew his takedowns were also very good. So I knew I had to be sharp and confident everywhere that I was with him. So that was my game plan. I just didn't want to stop moving. Didn't want to let him, gain control of the match and put it in his favor. And thankfully it worked out. I was able to get the W. So let's go.
Nice.
But totally opposite story for Kieran. I knew Kieran, did good with people that moved fast. He was able to see positions coming. He was able to snatch up legs. Was able to meet the person there before they got there, because Kieran's very fast as well. So I didn't want it to be a speeding battle, because I knew I could have gotten caught. I could have gotten submitted. So uh, I wanted to really test how good he was with technique for technique, because I saw everyone compete against him in Emerald City, and they were just like, I have to pass this guy's guard. I have to,
Right.
go forward and attack. And then Kieran was able to, spin underneath, false reap, get them tired, either submit them or beat them in overtime. So I
Yep.
was like, okay, let's let him make the first move and let's, counter off that. So that was my whole game plan. I was trying to, pass towards his head, collect his hips. Never passed him. He never swept me. It was such a, close match, but I was able to almost get past his guard. I think it was 6 times.
Yep.
But it was a great match, and I saw he started getting tired halfway through the fight. If I wouldn't have saw it was working, I would have switched up my game plan. But I saw it was working. I saw that I was keeping the edge over him the whole time. Like, it never was him chasing after me. It was still me chasing after him. So it's like, okay, what you're doing, it's working. So you're good. You can stay right where you are. You can just keep you can keep doing with what you're doing. So that was my game plan going against Kieran, and let's go. It worked out. I was able to beat him in overtime, and I believe Kieran and I and Chris and I will all fight again. I believe very soon we'll fight again. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to
Absolutely.
see how our future matches will go, and how they'll just plan out, because I'm sure we're going to be working stuff for each other. I'm sure he's working. More elevation techniques for me to get me, off my feet. And I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna be working for him, because that would just be giving it away. But and then I'm sure
I'm gonna
Chris
cross
is
out
working.
that question right now. Then, what part of your game are you working on right now?
Actually, you can ask that. What I'm working on right now, for not just one in particular person. I don't like to have a game plan based on one type of person. I like to have a game that fits everybody's styles, and then
Nice.
I just have to edit it a little bit, like to fit that person's style. I don't want to go, okay, game plan A for a guard player, game plan B for a wrestler. I want it just be game plan A modified a little bit for the wrestler, or for the guard player, or for the back taker submission artist. So
That
I
makes a lot of sense.
but what I'm working on here lately, I have just stopped working on my passing. I'm confident in where my passing has evolved to, and I'm still, still working on it. It is nowhere near perfect, but I am starting to work on more leg locks and guard now. Because in the beginning of my jiu-jitsu career, I was a heavy guard player. I would rely on my flexibility. I am ridiculously flexible. I don't like to use it that much because I don't want to ever hurt myself. But now I've for the past like three years I've been working my wrestling, my top pressure, just to build all around my game. So now I'm going back to my guard, working on my guard, making it a better tool of my game, and I'm also starting to work on leg locks because um, I don't like running from leg locks. For the longest time, I would see a leg lock and I would run away, and I would be like, "Haha, you can't catch me, bye bye." So, like that was kind of my jiu-jitsu game towards leg locks. Like I
Hey,
would
that's a
just run
decent
away.
strategy.
It 100% is. It worked out for a long time, but then I started gaining a little confidence in it, and then I got submitted by I got submitted by what's his name? I'm so bad at names. Uh, well, I got submitted two times, in one a knee bar and another a knee bar. So that showed me, okay, your leg locks suck, Andrew. So, you're good at running away, but once you stop running away and you actually try to fight, you get submitted. So I have started working my leg lock game. I've started, I've always known the leg lock game, but I've just never drilled the heck out of it. So now I'm starting to drill it, figure out the little details and all of the, annoying, stuff that I need to learn. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where my leg lock and guard game goes from here because once I can feel confident from both top and bottom, uh oh, it's gonna be bad for everyone.
Absolutely. It already is bad for most people. So, um, you had a match at ADCC Trials with Damian Anderson. We talked about
Oh
this
yeah.
just before we started recording. Um, I rewatched it just before I called you, and I mean I've seen it two or three times already. Insane match, potentially the best match of the trials. Tell me about that match, your point of view, and then I have a specific question about what Mo said to you right after it was over.
Oh yeah, I don't really remember that, but my brother reminded me what he said because I was so tired and it was all just a blur. But so yeah, going into that match with Damian Anderson, we fought once before on Third Coast. That match was a 56-minute long match. It was crazy. So that
I
match was
remember that.
amazing.
Now that you say that, I do remember that.
So yeah, we fought ACC Trials. I was like, okay, this would be good. I was like, it's be bad, but it's be good because I know he's tough. So we went out there and we decided to have a wrestling match. Like none of us were backing down. He walks around like 160, maybe on a good day 162. So I was walking around like 173, maybe on a good day 174. So I cut down to 155. He cut down. He was at a more. I felt really strong, but well, I didn't really have legs. Like that's the one thing I felt like my legs weren't there. Like
Hmm.
I felt like a little. I felt like I was on pogo sticks. Like the or what are those one things where you walk on them and your arms and your legs like. But anyways, I felt like I was on some sort of like shaky
From
leg.
the weight
So
cut, you mean, or
yes,
yeah,
yes, yeah,
okay,
from the weight cut.
gotcha.
Um, but yeah, I still felt good regardless of that. And our match, oh god, it was so fire. I remember, us going back and forth. I'll kind of explain it to you guys. I know it pretty well. So the first 3 minutes of the round, it was just back and forth. Us pounding on each other's head. It was more of a slap contest than more of a wrestling match. I shot in on him. I was able to take him down out of bounds. Not take him down. I put him to his knees, which is not considered a takedown for ADCC trials. ADCC trials requires back on the mat. So wrestling rules: if you take them down to your knees, that's a takedown. If you take them down to your back, that's a pin. If you can get both shoulders, if you take them down stomach, anything more than just the feet is a takedown. So if you can get their knees on the mat, the hips, that's a takedown. ADCC trials, ADCC, one of the way harder than wrestling. I don't, there's top wrestlers in the world. They would destroy us in wrestling. I know they would. But ADCC and ADCC rule set harder than wrestling rule set, just because it requires you to do so much more to get points on the
I
takedowns.
agree.
Like you take someone down to their knees, like, oh, it's like starting a referee's position. Then for the wrestlers, like, it's so hard, and most of the times the person on bottom escapes and gets up in the referee's position, like most of the time.
Yep.
So, oh, it's so bad. So I took him down to his knees, but jiu-jitsu, they let you do back takes to help with that rule. Get your hooks in, that's 4 points. Get your hooks out, hooks back in, 4 points again. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to try and take him down this early in the match and use all my energy up. So I'm going to try and take his back. I made a very crucial mistake on the back take. I got an overhook on his head rather than an underhook on his arm on the side that I was on. So that allowed him to roll to his back.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another really crazy rule that I don't 100% think it's a good thing. But he was on his knees from my takedown, and then after 3 seconds you can pull guard, and then that no points. I think they should keep it like if you have the person's back, like you took them down to their knees and they go to their guard in 10-15 seconds, that still should be points because you worked to get them onto their knees. But anyways, the he pulled guard and I was like, no, I was like, all that work, I got you to your knees. And so the matches were only 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes overtime, so not very long. So I got him down. He put my leg into outside ashi. I had a trap grip. I still had that, seatbelt grip. But if I would have had it underneath his arm, he wouldn't have been able to roll to his back. So my fault. He rolled to his back. Oh, it was like 25 seconds of me just trying to rip my leg out before the round was over to get my points,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't. He was holding on for dear life, so I was like, no. So I won the round. But when you guys, sorry, I'm hiccuping. When you guys go to overtime, I'm pretty sure they forget the round, and they
Yes.
just scored on overtime. So I was like, dang it, I wasted so much energy trying to take him down and take his back, and he was just chilling defending. So I was like, I was more tired going into overtime. And I knew that. So we started off. I was like, okay, regain your energy. You're more tired than him. And then I shot in on him. He pulled his leg out and spun to my back, and then I shook him off the top, and they count initiation. So he had one initiation for overtime, and then I shook him off, held him down. So that would have been points for me if I could have held him down.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turtled, and I went to his back. So there, I was trying to take his back again, and then he pulled guard. So that wasn't one danger considered an initiation for me. So he escaped that. We stood back up, and we were so tired at this point. I remember looking at him. I saw like three of them. I was like, "This is not good, not good at all." So I remember I tried to club his head, and I missed. I was aiming for the wrong Damian. so so he shot actually off my missed club. He checked my elbow, shot in on me. He took me down on a bounce. I got to my knees, shook him off. So now I had one initiation for a takedown, and then he had one initiation for a takedown. He had an initiation for the back take, and I had an initiation for danger. So we were even, and then I shook him off. I was holding him down. He escaped, and then I got on his. Then we stood up. I was able to get to his back, and I did like a very baby-like suplex just because I was so tired. I just barely put him down, and then the round finished with me on top of him trying to pass his guard.
Mm-hmm.
They gave the round to him, which in my eyes I totally agree with. The refs are the best deciders. They're the only ones in the moment that can decide the match. If I had to decide the match, I would just be like, shoot, give me like 10 more minutes to rewatch all the footage again. Like there's no way I could have made a decision on the spot.
Yeah.
So he won the match. And then, it was so tiring. I remember hugging him after, and I was like, "Shoot, man, how are you feeling?" He's like, honestly, I don't feel anything. He's like, "I'm really tired."
You must have been exhausted because you didn't look very upset that you lost, to be honest, when I just rewatched.
Yeah. I was not. I didn't have enough emotions to be tired, to be sad. It was just all my emotions were devoted to make it off the mat, make it to a trash can, and throw up. So that was all of my emotions were going towards that. Um, we were pulled to the side, and we were both asked, "Do you guys want to go another overtime? This match is too close to decide." I thought I won the match hands down, so I said no, 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 no. I don't want to do that again. I won the match, which my mistake. You never leave it up to the judges. I had that chance to come back and win, and I should have taken it.
Yep.
And he also said no. He was like, nope, no, 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 no. I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to go another 3 minutes. I'm good, man. So my mistake there. But I learned so much from that match. I made, like I said, I've pointed out several mistakes that I made. So I've learned already 4 valuable lessons. So yeah, that was the experience. And then the Mo question. Yeah, you want to know what he asked me
If you
afterwards?
remember, I mean,
I remember now.
Okay.
Yeah, because my brother was there right with me, so he knows, and he told me. He's like, "You remember Mo saying this to you?" And I was like, "Nope." But now, I remember now because I'm able to look back on it. But Mo, it was me and Damian. Our arms around each other, and we were walking off the mat, and then he, went to his corner, celebrated, and I, grabbed William, and I was just like, help me over to the side. I'm so tired, and he was just like, good job, Andrew. You should be proud of yourself. And then, all of my teammates were sad. They were like, oh, darn it. So Mo came up to me and he said, Andrew, I don't care what the ref said or what anyone said. He said, look at this place. Stop for a second. And I looked, and everybody was just like, whoa, cheering. They were like, whoa, let's go. Like the whole crowd. And he was just like, you guys did that, win or lose. He said, keep your head up. He said, that was one of the best matches I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
He said, keep fighting. He said, keep showing up. He said, you got a bright future. And that's kind of what made me start to cry. Because I was like, oh, God. I was like, hey, I could have won. It could have been so much better. But, yeah,
No,
I went over.
It was incredible,
Yeah, sorry.
man. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was a great match. I hope Damien and I can fight again. Our body types are different. I'm taller, so I believe, in October I'm actually cutting down to 155 his weight, so maybe we can get a fight similar to that date because we'll be the same weight. But I'm trying to, get bigger, gain weight until October and then cut.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get as big as possible because I have the ability to get big. I don't have narrow shoulders. I don't have a small frame. I'm just skinny, so I'm trying to put size on, get bigger. But
What weight do you prefer
also
to fight at?
I prefer to fight at 170, 170, like right there, maybe 165.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get before I start my cut for the 155 division. I want to get to 180. I want to see the 180 mark.
Yep.
And then I want to cut from there. So yeah, that would be a good. What is that? That's 20 or no, that's 30. Yeah, that's 30 pounds. So that's gonna be a pretty good cut.
Yeah,
If I don't say so. 20,
that's
25 pounds. Sorry. Yeah, 25 pounds. Sorry, but that's gonna be a very challenging cut. But the term that I'll be doing is called twist invitational, some twisted invitational,
Mm-hmm.
and they're putting a 10K spot in the line. And I don't know what Emerald City you guys are doing next, or sorry that Sam's doing, but I want to do that one as well. So I just want to keep my weight available for whatever tournament is open. 155, 170, 185. I want to do them.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, I mean, I can speak on behalf of Sam, and I'm sure he'll be happy to have you.
Okay, let's go. But also I want to give out one little thing before we move on to the next question. But
Yeah.
my mom came up to me after the match, and she sat down next to me, right by my side, and I was just, I walked over. Everybody knows right after someone loses, give them like 10 minutes of alone time. It's just what you do. You just have to do it because you might see a side of somebody that you don't want to see if you come to them after they lost the match and try to talk to them.
Yeah.
Like the devil just might pop out. But
especially when the stakes
yeah,
are as high as a situation like that.
for sure. The disappointment and something like that is just so heavy. It's almost like I've never had my heart broken, from somebody, so I don't know what that feels like. But I can say that losing a big tournament like that, it probably was like the closest thing it can put you through for like a couple of minutes. Then you get around your teammate and you're like, oh, it's all good again. But
Yeah.
you know, you carry that, weeks out from the tournament, months, years. I still have that in the back of my head every single time I am pushing myself beyond my body limits, doing a workout, and I get the shivery throwing up feeling. I'm just like, keep going, keep going, keep going. You don't want to get put through that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyways, my mom came up to me like 15 minutes. She gave me my time. She sat next to me and she said, Andrew, everything happens for a purpose. Everything's in God's hands. And she said, I love you. And then she like hugged me and she was like, I love you so much. And then, your mama comes up, she hugs you, she tells you how much she loves you. You can't not cry. So I actually held my tears in until that point. Like I was good. I was good. I kept telling myself, I was like, I'd get a little tear started. I'd be like, get back in there, tear. I'm like, no, we're not crying. So I would like suck up my tears. So yeah, I just started bawling when my mom hugged me. And then I was crying for like maybe 30 minutes after. Like I could just not keep my emotions. And then FloGrappling was like, yo, you want to do an interview? And I was like, Jen, look like I'm in the position to do an interview. So yeah. That I'm thankful for my mom that she can bring out that side in me, that sensitive side, because I often try to not let myself go there. From what you guys have seen from the reality show, I try to act a little bit more tough and for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty sensitive.
That's an awesome story. I actually really appreciate you sharing that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I learned so much from it. It was such a great experience.
From talking to you a couple weeks ago, I get the feeling that your parents, both your mom and dad, are super supportive and involved in everything. You had
Oh
mentioned that
yeah.
part of your pre fight ritual is to call your parents if they're not there, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, every single tournament, I don't remember one tournament where I haven't, huddled up in a prayer group with my dad and mom and prayed before a match or called them and prayed with them before a match. It's just, I just can't remember. I can't name one time
That's
where it
awesome.
hasn't happened. Ever since, I've probably done over, I don't want to give an unrealistic number, but over 300 tournaments, maybe close to 400 in my life. So
Hmm.
I don't know one time where we haven't done that. So it's just a great. Every time I think of my parents, I think of when I'm not with them, when I'm traveling or something. I think of calling them and praying before a match. Like it's just always like you're about to compete, get ready to call your parents. Like, I'm just ready for that. So
That's cool.
I'm glad they've always done that with me and just kept that connection with us.
That's huge for sure.
And I don't want to sound weird, but your voice sounds a lot like Joe Rogan. Have you ever gotten that before?
I never have, but I'll take it for sure.
Yeah, like you need to listen to this recording and put Joe Rogan's voice right next to yours, and they are pretty similar. I do have to say, man.
I'll absolutely do that.
All right,
um,
what you got next for me?
so one of the I got a couple, maybe two or three more things to get to if we have time.
Nice.
Um, I know a lot of people are going to want to hear uh, anything that you want to talk about who's next.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you you took down a bull. You took down Big Dan.
Yeah, yeah.
The house looked crazy. I don't know how much of that was cooked up for TV or how much it was like really. But some of the interactions with Mike Rakshan were pretty funny too. So, anything you want to share from the show and
For
just in
sure.
general what the experience was like,
All right.
we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I might spend the rest of the time we have maybe here, or we can go over one more
Absolutely.
thing because
Yeah, sure.
I got a lot to say about this.
Okay, cool.
So basically, everything we did on the show was authentic. Like I'm not kidding you. Nothing was told by FloGrappling. We were not told anything to do anything. They were so chill, and they were so almost un uh like they wanted the most drama, they wanted the most chaos, and that's what creates good TV. Like when you watch a series on Netflix, Disney Plus, all these different platforms, you watch a reality show, you don't want to see people be like, what's up, how's your day going, it's going good, get ready to train. You want to be like, yo, what's up, old man? Yeah, you ready, you want to fight, you want to see some chaos. So I going into the show, and I think Mike Rakshan had the same idea. As soon as he started seeing me messing with him, he's like, okay, this little piece of crap wants to have a fight here on the show. He wants to get rough. Like, I am totally down to do this. Like, Mike and I were super close. We actually had a call conversation just like you and I are having. If you guys want to go listen to it, it's actually on his channel. But
Definitely
we
gotta check that out.
so we're really close. We everything that went through on the show, it didn't go too personally. Like, for a little bit, I think he was taking that stuff personal um, during the show, because I would too. Like, I was doing some messed up stuff to him. Like, we starting off with the first thing I did to him. I believe as soon as we got in the house, he was extremely tired from traveling. His traveling experience was horrible, so he was tired. So he laid down in his bed with earphones and an eye cover. So, my man was just ready to be not disturbed. Like, he was ready to be asleep. Um, because they gave us one day of just chill. So he took that day and was trying to sleep. First thing I did, took a marker, draw it on his face. And as soon as the marker touched his mustache, he woke up. So I just got a little line on him. And so he came out and he was just like, "What is wrong with you?" He's like, "I'm trying to sleep." And I was like, "Ain't no sleep in this house, baby. You gotta be aware 24/7." so so he was like, "Okay, okay, I see how it's gonna be." He's like, "Let me go get my sleep, and if you disturb me, I will make sure you'll never hear the end of it." So I was like, "Okay, I'll let you sleep. I'll let you sleep." So everybody else in the house was like, "Come on, Andrew, let him sleep." So I was like, "Okay, I'll let him sleep." And then as soon as he woke up the next day, he got in my face and he was like, "Hey yo, hey yo, little spoiled boy." He kept calling me a privileged spoiled boy. He thought that was getting to me, and not so much it was, but it was more making me angry that he was using that against me
Right.
instead of something else. So I was like, "Oh, come on, man! Why you gotta call me privileged and spoiled?" I was like, "I've worked my whole life. Like, come on, man!" And then I kept calling him like old man. I was like, "Hey, they didn't show a lot of stuff, and I'll go over a lot of the stuff that they didn't show." One of them was the smack talk. They didn't show a lot of smack talk, probably for being safe purposes. But
Right.
I kept being like, "Oh, yo, old man, I brought you a cane." I was like, "You're back okay?" I was like, "Did you herniate your disc?" So I was just like, drilling him. So the next morning he woke up and he was like, "Hey, yo, come here." And I was wearing sunglasses, and I was just trying to be as douchey as possible. So he pulled the sunglasses off me, and I was like, "Get your hands off me, man!" And then we just got into a fight instantly. Testosterone. Like, it wasn't like I'm gonna kill you fight. It was more like it wasn't planned. It was more of like I wanna prove who is better fight. So it wasn't like I'm trying to hurt you. It's just
Yeah.
like, and I think we all
Like
saw
high
who
level roughhousing.
for sure, and I think we saw all who won that fight. I'm not saying who won, but I think we can tell. But yeah, that was the experience of the fight, and it was hilarious, man. The next day was even crazier. We woke up. They're like, "All right, we're fighting bulls," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean we're fighting bulls?" I'm down for it because I was raised around animals and cows and stuff like that. So I was like, "Let's go." It was crazy that I was able to toss that bull. Like, what was going through my head? I don't know, man. I have no idea. Wait, what was your first impression when you saw that happen? Like, what
I
went
was
through your head?
shocked. I was like, I didn't even know what to think. I was like, how did he just do that? It was so great, man. Like
Yeah,
like immediately you're forcing a bull into like a forward roll over your body as a takedown, and then you threw the hook in the top for good measure to like hold it down a little extra.
I know, man. I got the hook in. I was like, "This boy, get away!" I was like, because I knew if it got away, the first thing it would do was head down and start like hitting me if it's head. Like it was freaking pissed, and it has all the right to be pissed. I threw it. I'm very sorry, bull. Like, you have all the right to be mad at me, but I was like, I'm sorry. I can't just let you take your anger out on me. I have to hold you. So that's what I did. I held it, and then I ran. I ran fast, man. I was like, I'm out of here. Like, you saw me sprint. And then I looked back. I looked back and the bull wasn't following me. Like it was just like, dang it, that just happened to me. I'm so embarrassed. So it kind of like walked it off, like nothing ever happened. So
no one else even was close to taking one down either. At least it didn't look like it on the show.
I mean, the closest someone got was Kyle Chambers. He actually threw the bull down, but it got back up right away. He like threw it down to like one leg, and he was like, he got back up with his leg. But Isaac was never able to pin it or get it close to being down.
Yep.
He kind of had a who's stronger match the bull, and the bull won. But it was believe me, it was. I have never had such an adrenaline rush in my life. Like, it's cool having adrenaline rushes because you're like, damn, I feel awesome. Like, this is crazy. Like it was nothing but dopamine and happiness going through my mind. And oh man, it was, and then like once it settled down and I started like on the ride back to the house, I was like, man, my chest and my ribs and my shoulder, oh man, I'm hurting. The next day during training, the next day I was just like, man, my upper body is so sore. Like,
so how long was everybody there? Because it's kind of hard to tell from watching the show. Like,
what would you say? What would you guess?
I mean, it looked like a couple weeks.
Okay, like you can narrow it down to days. I want to see if you can get it.
12 days.
That's pretty close. So it was 17 days.
Okay.
So it was So we did. I believe it was a day and a half of getting. So sorry, it was 3 days in a hotel. We were required to stay in a hotel for 3 days. Then it was go to the fight. We fought. One extra day of in the hotel, and we were getting more interviews, and then we went to the house, 1 day of warm up in the house, and then 2 weeks of or right under 2 weeks of in the house every day, 6 a.m., 7 p.m. That was our schedule, or 8 p.m. Cameras were on us 24/7. The only private spot we had was the restrooms for legal purposes, man.
Yeah.
Like if they were allowed to put cameras in the restroom, they would have told us, don't get naked, wear your underwear in the restrooms. We want to record everything you guys do. But they weren't allowed to do that. But like literally, you guys maybe even saw the clip on FloGrappling of them walking in on me while I'm air drying my shorts in the bathroom. Like there was did you see that?
I didn't see that. No.
Oh, I'm so glad. I've told people about this and they're like, no, I haven't seen that. I'm so glad that video did not go viral. That would have been horrible for me. But yeah, they came in and I don't really want to give that story, but dang it. I kind of have to now. I should have brought it up.
Hey, you're in too deep now.
For sure, dang it. So yeah, I was like, dang it, I'm freaking nervous. We're doing all these interviews. I was like, this is so nerve wracking. Like, and you know what they did? It was one interview, and that's all you got. You didn't get a redo. You didn't get like all that because they were on such a tight schedule. So it's like if you mess up, you mess up. So I was like, wow, okay, this is kind of scary. Okay, I was like, dang, I gotta go to the restroom. I'm nervous because everybody knows the nervous need to go to the restroom feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I ran to the restroom, and I don't know why. But maybe this is giving away too much information. But when I go to the restroom, I kind of take off all of my clothes. I just don't like having clothes on me when I go to the restroom. So maybe that's too much information. But but I hung my clothes up and they fell and the floor was wet, so they landed in the wet floor. And it was my pants. So I was like, dang it, my pants are wet. I was like, no. So I was like, walked over to the air dryer. I had my shirt and underwear on at this point, but I was air drying my shorts in the blow dryer for the hand dryer and trying to get them to dry off. Is They were jean shorts, and jean shorts, they're gonna show the wetness. So I was like, shoot. And they take a long time to dry off because they're thick. So I was like, shoot, this is taking forever, man. And they were like, Andrew, we need to interview you. Andrew, the producer, comes in. He's like, oh, hello. I'm like, nothing to see here. And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And he just walks out, comes back with like 2 cameras and a microphone. He's like, Andrew, how did you get in this situation? I was like, dang it. I was like, no, they did me dirty, man.
Oh, wow.
So they were like, oh man, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. Like I was like, dang it, this is really happening, man. I was like, I'm basically naked and they're videoing me. It wasn't so much that I was almost naked and they were videoing me. Like I could care less for that. It was the fact that they were like, you peed your pants, and I was like, no, man, I didn't pee my pants. I was like, I swear I grew out of that a couple of years ago. But they were like, they're like, oh yeah, sure, tell us the story. I told them the story, and then the camera girl looks dead at me. She's the top camera girl for Daisy Fresh, so she's around guys all the time. So she was like, sure, that's the true story. Tell us the real story. Don't lie. And I was like, oh dang it! I was like, they're not gonna let up on me. So I was like, I'm gonna go. I left my phone in the stall, and I like walked back into the stall and just hid until they left. So yeah, that was such a bad. I was so embarrassed, man. But
that's a hilarious story.
Go on to FloGrappling Instagram and scroll down until you find it. I believe it's even on my. I don't know if I reshared it just for, like the purposes of keeping the embarrassment minimum. But scroll back on FloGrappling Instagram, you'll see it if you wanna watch.
Oh yeah, I definitely gotta check that out for sure.
For sure. But last funny thing that's kind of unknown that they didn't show on the show was this one time. They didn't show a lot of it, and they definitely should have. Is how I was smack talking Big Dan. I believe they showed me smack talking him a little bit in the gym. They showed me giving him the flower. They showed me smack talking him right before we fought, but that was about it. Like I was literally in his face. Like when we were at the house, I was like smack talking him. Like when we were in the van, I would just be like staring at him, and he'd be like, "Why are you staring at me?" And I wouldn't say anything. Like it was just constant. Like I knew I had to get in his head. So, but they didn't show a lot of it, and like I wish you guys could have saw. Like Big Dan, honestly, like he was so cool, man. Like I would smack talk him, he'd just be like, "Come on, Andrew, not now. Like, come on, we're about to fight. Let's keep it respectful." And I was like, why? I was like, man, we're on cameras. I was like, no way am I going to keep this respectful. I was like, you're a 275-pound Viking. I was like, right. I can't win on respectful. I was like,
So whose idea was it for you to fight him?
It was my idea.
Your idea.
Well, it was the Bulls' idea, okay? Like
I didn't know if it was like your coaches doing you dirty, like, yeah, you got Big Dan, sorry, or if like you wanted to take it on.
So actually, Craig Jones was probably the coolest coach. He was super understanding and super cool. I was like, yo, I want to fight Big Dan. He's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, bro. I was like, give me him. I want to fight him. He's like, are you sure? And I was like, yes. He's like, okay, Andrew. He's like, I'm gonna give it to you. He's like, but he's like, you gotta want this. If you lose, it's gonna affect our team. So you gotta want it. So I was like, okay. And so I was like, I want to fight Big Dan. I want to fight Big Dan. I was like, what else am I gonna do? Like, if I lose, I want to lose to Big Dan. Like, I don't want to lose to anybody else. And if I win, I want to beat Big Dan. So that was like my mentality. And I was like, give me Big Dan. Give me Big Dan. So I believe I got in his face. I was like, I took down one bull, I'll take down another big bull, buddy. And I like got up to him. I like got in his face, and he just like had a death stare every time I looked at him. Like I would get in his face, and it would just be like no emotion.
Yeah.
Like the eyes of somebody that has like killed somebody.
Yeah.
Like those were the eyes. He was like, give it. Sure. I was like, dang, you've seen some stuff, man. So honestly, I was kind of intimidated going into the match as well, just by how he was approaching my smack talk. But it was crazy, man. I can't believe I beat him, and props to him. He's doing great things now. He's out there killing everybody.
Yeah, for sure. That was I did not expect that. I got to be honest. I'm like, oh man, this stinks, because I was pulling for you from the start, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna fight Big Dan already, like early on, you know.
For sure. I'm glad I didn't disappoint, but you saw my match of Kyle Chambers,
Well,
right?
that's what I was gonna ask you next. Like, that was a absolute, or at least looked like an absolute war. It was what, an hour and a half long, roughly.
Yeah. It was like exactly an hour and 35 minutes and 14 seconds. Like,
Jeez.
yeah, it was very, very long. I've watched that match two times now, and that's a long match, man. Like, I've watched it start to finish two times now, and man, it takes some dedication to watch that whole match. Like,
For sure.
like sometimes, like it's honestly a great match. Like, I don't believe there's one point in it where I got bored watching it. We laughed a couple of times. I made some jokes. Like, he put biofreeze on before the match just because we were all so beat up from the show, and he we were sweating, and he got sweat in my eyeball, and my eyeball started burning. I was like, man, why is my eyeball? I was like, you smell like biofreeze, man. I was like, I called him Mr. Clean. I was like, what did you put on yourself, Mr. Clean? And he was like biofreeze. I was like, that should be illegal. So we were kind of laughing and stuff the whole match. But I'll break down the match, probably in like a minute. So
Yeah.
the match started. He pulled guard. I was trying to pass for at least 10 minutes. Was able to pass. I took his back. He escaped. I was like, okay, that was a really good escape. Okay, I need to focus on what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to submit you with. Passed his guard again. Took his back. He escaped again. I was like, okay, I can pass you. I've proven that. I can take your back. I've proven that. But I can't submit you. I've proven that as well. So I passed his guard again. I took his back, and I was like, okay, this time I'm going to go for an arm bar because the choke is not working. Went for an arm bar. He escaped that as well. So I was like, dang, come on, Andrew. Like, you're getting all these opportunities to beat him, but you're screwing it up. I was like, come on, stay calm. This is a battle of nutrition, not just of, just this single movement.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was able to get inside Ashi and 50-50 in two scenarios very close to each other. And I was able to defend them very well. I actually took his back off of an attack from 50-50.
Yep.
So I got on his back yet again. I actually synced in a very tight choke. It was very, very close. It was the only point in the match where I was like, yes, I won. And I was squeezing so hard. And, you can't tap. You just can't unless your knee's going to break. Like, you just can't tap to a choke. Like, you're gonna pass out. Like, if he had me in a choke, I would have passed out.
Especially
So
an
he
hour in.
oh yeah, this was actually only like 20 minutes in. So he escaped, and then we went into a stand-up battle for freaking 45 minutes. I took him down 5 or 6 times, and then he almost took me down once. So I was winning the stand-up exchange. I got on his back yet again, and he escaped. But that time, when I got on his back, he went for a knee bar, and he almost had me, but I escaped. So he knew, okay, I can knee bar this kid, and I knew he can knee bar me. So I went for his back again from standing. My mistake. I should have been aware, knowing that his knee bar was there. I saw it coming, so I hooked the back of his leg, but he did a good job of stripping the grip, and he got the knee bar. Man, it was such a tiring match.
It's
I
gotta be. What's the feeling like? I mean, obviously, no one wants to lose a match. I get that.
Oh yeah,
And losing a 5-minute match or a 10-minute match is pretty deflating in itself. But if a match goes an hour and a half, like,
well,
how does that
so
feel?
basically the whole time I was telling myself through the match, I was telling myself, Andrew, who are you doing this for? You're not doing this for yourself. You're not doing this for, because in the beginning I was doing it for myself. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
first 30 minutes I was doing it for myself. But then, it started narrowing down to, so like, who are you doing this for? You're doing this for your team, your family, you're doing this for, Jesus Christ, you're doing this for everybody that you believe in and that supports you, you're doing this for them. And, we had a water break. I believe it was an hour into the match because we just stopped sweating. We weren't sweating no more. So we drank water and we instantly started sweating again. So that's how much we were just dehydrated and
Wow.
stuff. Um, I, afterwards, I've never cried out of joy. I wasn't when he beat me. I wasn't crying out of sadness because I lost. I was more like, thank God that's over. Like
Yeah.
it was it was more joy, and I was happy for him. I was like, man, you deserve it. Like
I feel like if
I
you go
was
toe to toe with someone for that long, like there's really no loser in that. Like it's so razor thin between winning and losing after an hour and a half.
for
Anything
sure.
could happen.
I totally agree with you there. But he actually hugged me. I believe it was after the match, and we just we started crying. They didn't show too much of that, but we hugged for probably about 10 seconds. We just started crying on each other's shoulders. And it was a great experience. I was like, dang man, I not only share this experience with Kyle, but now I love him like a brother because we went through so much. And
That's
then
awesome.
I was so Reed. He started interviewing me, and and he's like, Andrew, tell me, and this is how Reed talks. He's like, Andrew, tell me how it feels to train. We told you 2 months ago you were going to be on the show to train for 8 weeks to go through 17 days of competing against people to make it all the way to the semifinals of the tournament and to lose an hour and 38 minutes into a match, 35 minutes into the match. He's like, tell me how that feels. He's like, obviously it's got to be just devastating to go through all of this and lose. And I was like, come on, man. Like, why do you got to bring up all of that? I started bawling my eyes out, man. I was like, man, you planned this, bitch.
Yeah.
And
You probably had
he
that
just
same
went,
question ready for Kyle if the match went the other way.
oh
That's a
yeah,
rough question, man.
for sure, man. It was bad. They actually cut the cameras because I started crying so much, and they had to like cut the cameras. And they're like, okay, Andrew, get a hold of your emotions. I was like, all right, I'm good, and they restarted. Um, like it was like kind of like I was a little kid out there, and I stubbed my knee or got a cherry from falling on the sidewalk. I was just like, I was just crying. But yeah, and I built a relationship with Reed out of that as well. Like it was truly amazing to get to know people, everybody like that. I'm so thankful for it.
Nice. So you are facing Renee in the main
Yeah.
card.
Yes, sir.
How
Yeah. So
anything you want to talk about with that, or obviously you don't want to discuss game plans and things like that, but
I mean,
what's your outlook on
R-
that?
R- Renee definitely knows my game plan. I know David. I know I know Renee's game plan as well. Renee is good at wrestling, but he knows I'm a better wrestler. He is good at guard, and he is very good at close guard. He's very good at 50-50. So he's going to be going for what he's good at. He might be working takedowns and he's going to bring it to me on the feet. Who knows? That could happen. He could be working a totally different guard game. Who knows? That could happen.
Right.
But from what I have seen, um, I'm expecting a heavy, inversion guard game. So I'm ready for that. But I'm also ready for him to come after me in a different game plan. So my game plan for him is just never let him settle with, being underneath me, going inverted. My game plan is to keep him square in front of me to where I'm able to hold him and able to, tire him out and get the pass. I believe Jansen did a very good job of showing how to beat Renee.
Mm-hmm.
Their match, I forget how long their match was. I believe it went to the 40-minute mark.
I think you're
So
right.
it was that's a long match. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a long match, and
Yeah,
they
when
were
we're saying
scrapping.
only 45 minutes compared to your hour and a half long match.
Like imagine you take a nap, you fall asleep, and people are fighting. You wake up, you look outside, and those people are still fighting. You be like, what's going on here? Like,
That's a great analogy.
fights usually last like 5 minutes. So it's just and not saying that jiu-jitsu is a fight. It's not a fight, but what we're given, we're trying to make it a fight as much as possible. Like, but yeah, my game plan is imply exactly what Jansen did to him. But I'm gonna put my own little twist on it, if you know what I'm saying. So so if Renee, if you're listening, I love you, man. I'm excited for our match, but I'm going to be coming after you. You said this in the interview on the show. We're all friends. We're family. We love each other. But as soon as that bell starts and as soon as we shake hands, you are in my way to where I want to go. You are my stepping stone. There's no other outlook to it. If you win, then I'm your stepping stone. If I win, you're my stepping stone. And after the match, we're cool again. But
Yep.
once the match starts, you're my stepping stone, and I'm treating you just like I'm gonna treat everyone else. So I'm excited for our match because I'm gonna be coming after him, and I'm gonna be trying my hardest to beat him. So dang, I got the goosebumps, man. I'm so excited.
I
Bro.
can't
I'm
wait,
so
man.
excited.
I can't wait to watch it. How does it feel
Yeah,
to be
man.
on a main card with Gordon Ryan? Like, do you feel like
Bro,
you're? It's got to feel pretty
it feels
awesome.
feels pretty good.
Yeah.
It feels pretty good. You know, so winning this match will mean a lot. It's going to mean a lot. It's. I'm just so excited. It might mean a rematch of Kyle. It might mean a match of Isaac. There's just a lot in store from this match. It might open opportunities for other promotions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's gonna be watching this. I don't think there's one person that's not, just because they're doing the Who's Next grand finale with Gordon Ryan.
Right.
I really wish they could have done Craig Jones versus Tim Springs as a grand finale, the two coaches.
Me
But
too.
but I think Tim Springs kind of running, man. From what it looks like to me, could be something different. But my perspective, Tim Springs is running. There could be
I
something else there.
I agree,
I don't,
man. And I don't like
but
to talk bad about anybody, but
me
that's what it
neither.
looks like
But
from my point of view. It looks like he does not want to fight.
I mean, it is what it looks like for me as well. But Gordon versus Pedro, just as good as a match.
Yeah.
Pedro's gonna bring it to Gordon. Gordon beat Pedro at the 2019 ADCC, so Pedro's gonna know that. He's been training for this match for a while now, so he's gonna be more than prepared. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how it goes down
How do you think the match goes between Kyle and Isaac?
between Kyle and Isaac. You know, ugh, it's a
I mean, I'm not asking you to call a winner, but you trained obviously and saw both of them up close and personal. So, did you were on Isaac's team, I believe, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna give educated answer on what I think.
sure.
Kyle's a guard player. As we've seen, he has very good cardio and he does not give up. So we know he's not going to give up. We know Isaac's going to. It's going to be very hard for him to break Kyle Chambers.
Hmm.
Um, so Kyle Chambers is a great guard player. He has good wrestling as well, and he's very technical with his leg locks. And we know his defense is top notch as well. So Isaac is a heavy, underhook, heavy based wrestler. He has an excellent, side to side moving passing game that we saw at ADCC Trials, that we saw on the rally show. So it's just going to be whoever can imply their game better. Can Kyle elevate Isaac? Isaac has good leg lock as well, if not equal as Kyle Chambers. So that's going to be interesting as well.
Hmm.
I believe the only way Kyle's going to win is to elevate Isaac, take his back, and submit him, or to get Isaac in close guard and submit him with either an armbar, dead orchard, straight arm lock, whatever he has planned from there.
Hmm.
I believe Isaac is going to win either by decision, he's going to win by passing Kyle and submitting him. Those are his two options. I don't believe Isaac's going to submit Kyle from the back. He could, but it's just not. I don't think he will.
Hmm.
I don't think Kyle has the ability to win by decision, just because Kyle is more of a sit back and let you make a mistake type of roller
Yep.
rather than attack, and Isaac is more of an attack. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that fight goes, and who wins. I'm so excited for what's gonna happen.
It's gonna be great, man. But just those, well, Big Dan's on the card too, but those final three matches with you and Gordon and Kyle, I mean, it's gonna be amazing.
Oh, without a doubt, I'm very very excited. Yeah.
So, just last brief question here before I let you go. I've already kept you super long time, but
No, man. Honestly, this time has flown by. Like, man,
I agree, man.
yeah.
It's been
I
great.
looked at my phone for the first time, and it's like a little bit ago, an hour and 20 minutes. Like, man, it's only felt like tops 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome, dude. I'm super happy to have you on here. You can welcome back anytime.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So you
But
have fought I mean, the who's who of your weight class. It feels like you fought most of them.
yeah.
I was just looking through earlier. I saw you fought Mika Galvo. You mentioned earlier in the interview that you fought, the Ruotolos.
Yep.
Who do you most want to rematch with, and who haven't you fought that you really want to fight?
I believe I need some more experience and time under my belt to fight Mika and the Rotolos. As of right now, I don't like going into matches knowing that I am at a skill disadvantage and a disadvantage overall.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to fight them on a smaller platform. But the risk of losing fighting one of them is just so much greater.
Yeah.
So I believe I need maybe at the end of this year or starting of next year, I will build the confidence in my jiu-jitsu career to fight them. But who I want most of a rematch right now is with Ethan Crownstein. Him and I have a history as well fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Anderson. Of course, we have a history, and Kyle Chambers. I want those three. Those are the Joseph Chan. That's another guy. That guy, he submitted me in a knee bar.
Mm-hmm.
For those that do not know, I want to fight those people because they are the ones that have beaten me, over the past couple of years. So I want to have a rematch with them, and I want to prove that I have gotten better and that I can beat them. It's not just that I want to beat you because you beat me, and I hold a grudge against you, and I'm better. Blah blah. It's have I progressed in my jiu-jitsu career? Am I doing everything that I need to do to get better? And is it paying off? So I want to go against them to prove to myself that I am getting better and that I have the ability to beat them.
I like it. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Is there anybody that you haven't fought yet that you're of any level that you really want to match against?
Oh, so much people. I always wanted to fight Gary Tenen. I don't think we will get the chance. I'm hoping one day, we might, but I believe he is starting to stop and transition into a different career. So sadly, I don't think I will get the opportunity. I want to fight, probably more than anything. I've always kind of really wanted to fight this person, but I've never been big enough of a name to challenge him. And hopefully with the next couple of tournaments that I can build up the name in order to challenge them and fight them. But I want to fight. I want to fight Johnny Grippo. I want to fight Josh Cisneros.
Yep.
I want to fight Keith Krikorian. I would, more than anything, I would love to fight the Meow brothers. I also always wanted to fight Nicky Ryan, but I don't know where he's at right now. But I really want to fight him as well. So there's a lot of people just who I would love to have a match with. I also want to fight Johnny Tama. Johnny Tama is very good, but I really want to fight him.
That's like a who's who list right there, man. I like it a lot. I've seen you fight in person on the Emerald City, and I've seen all three of the guys you mentioned first, Gianni, Josh Cisneros, and Keith Krikorian. I would love to see you matched up against any of those guys. I think it would be amazing.
Well, Josh Cisneros and I might get an opportunity in October to fight each other. So we're in the same bracket. So
awesome.
If all goes well, we'll fight each other.
Nice. All right, man. Well, before I let you go, I just want to give you open air to talk about your sponsors, where people can follow you, where people can find you, and all that stuff, so you can get your info out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that. So my sponsors are Brazilian Fight Factory. They're my gym. They sponsor me, in almost everything that I do. I have a sponsor called Spinal Rehab Institution. The main doctor there is Dr. Robert Myers. He sponsors me and he helps me out with so much. So shout out to Dr. Bob. You are the greatest. I have another sponsor, Level Black. He's my apparel sponsor. I love him. He's such a cool guy. He helps me out with so much, and I want nothing but the best for him. I want to shout out to my mom and dad. They're my sponsors as well. They've been sponsoring me since day one. So they're the best. I am so thankful for them. Everything they help me out with and everything they put up with that. How crazy I am. You guys, you guys can find me on Instagram at Tackett dot Andrew. Tackett dot Andrew is my Instagram. You can find me on my brother's YouTube channel. You can find me on my brother's Instagram, Tackett Jiu-Jitsu. There's just you can find me on FloGrappling. I'm sure I'm somewhere on there. Just type in FloGrappling, log in, create a membership. You can find me on FloGrappling Instagram. So yeah, if you guys want to follow my career and follow what I'm trying to do as a fighter in my upcoming tournaments, please support me. And I'm gonna try and be a greatest showman for you guys. I'm gonna try to put on a show for you guys. So do support me, guys. I'm ready and I'm excited.
Awesome, man. And next week, July 14th, 7 p.m., who's number one? Andrew is on the main card, so do not miss that. That's going to be amazing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man. I'm going to let you go. I've kept you more than enough. I really appreciate your time. This has been great, and would love to have you back anytime.
Thank you so much, sir. I would love to be back as well.